Good afternoon, Bobcats. It's a great day to be a Bobcat, once again. Well, first of all, I want to welcome each and every one of you. This house of blue and gold is so proud. We have been doing and accomplishing extraordinary things at your university, the premier university of the state of Montana. And I want to start by thanking our wonderful athletic director, Leon Costello. Leon Costello and his wife Heather, ever since they arrived, they have taken this university, this community, and this state by storm. We always knew what we had. We just needed that special leader that could catalyze all our energies behind every single collegiate sport that we have at Montana State University, including rodeo. Although this year he didn't ride that bull. Did you notice that? Thank you, Leon, for your passion. Thank you, Heather, for your support. We're truly blessed to have the best athletic director in the whole wide world. In the audience today, we have many special folks. I want to thank my alumni, our wonderful Bobcat fans, so loyal through and through. Without you, we would not be the place that we are. We are standing on your shoulders, the place that you built. And we also have spectacular individuals here. I see our wonderful head coach for football, Brett Vegan, and Molly. Thank you so much for joining us. And more importantly, what about the student athletes of Montana State University? If you're a student athlete, would you please stand up and be recognized? And while they are standing up, ladies and gentlemen, this is our Big Sky Championship team 2 years in a row. Thank you for joining us. And I'm not going to make the announcement. I want my athletic director to make that announcement. But what about Matt Logie? I was fortunate enough to be invited to be part of the interview process. And Matt, your story is compelling. The story of your family, that education that runs through generations in your family. It's amazing. It reminded me, as I shared with you, Brent Vegan's father is a beloved head coach in high school, and I can attest that runs very, very deep. But your passion, your knowledge, and the fact that you know how to take teams to win, that was a big selling point. The fact that Matt is right at the front edge of how this game is being played. The sport that was born in Springfield, Massachusetts continues to change and evolve so quickly, and we need to stay right there. And helping our young men learn and dominate on the three-pointer is going to be something that I'm looking forward to. But I want to, in a subdued manner, and allow my athletic director to do that, but to welcome the Logie family. This is your university, and we look forward to teaching you how to do the Go Cats Go at the top of your lungs and with great pride. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce the athletic director of Montana State Bobcats, Leon Costello.
Wow. Now you know why I go first. That is a hard act to follow. And she gets up here with no notes. I've got my notes, and I'm not afraid to use them either. It's a great day to be a Bobcat. Welcome to the Bobcat Athletic Complex on the campus of Montana State University. Today is a very special day as we introduce our new men's basketball coach at Montana State. But before we do that, there are some people that I would like to thank as well. First of all, President Wade Cruzado. Her inspiration and her leadership continue to guide the best and the brightest of this great university, and we thank her for her continual support of Bobcat Athletics. Thank you very much. There's a reason this whole university is successful, and it's sitting right there. I need to give a special thank you to the people that helped me during the search, Casey Fox, Jamie Rizzuto, and Tice Goosens from our athletic staff. They did a lot of heavy lifting during this process and contributed their time and talents along the way. I'd also like to thank Daniel Parker of Parker Executive Search, the other coaches and the staff that assisted in the search process to help tell the MSU and Bobcat Athletics story. Thank you very much. I would like to also thank our student athletes for being part of the process. You are the reason we are in the position we are in because of your success, and it was highly important that you were part of this process. So thank you for giving up your time on the weekend to come in and meet our candidates. It means a great deal to us, and it means a great deal to me that you got to meet your new leader. So thank you for your time. And I, too, would like to thank my wife, Heather, and my family. They're off doing their sporting events and things on the weekend. I can't do this without the support of them. And Heather, thank you for allowing me to do the thing that I love and allowing us to be Bobcats. So thank you very much. And lastly, I'd like to thank our former coach, Danny Sprinkle. We're not in this position without him. He has changed the trajectory and the expectations of Bobcat basketball. He is a Bobcat and a friend for life. So thank you, Coach Sprinkle. However, from the onset, our priority was to find a coach that would build on our recent success of Bobcat basketball, a proven winner. Somebody who isn't afraid to taking over a championship program and make it even better. Our new head coach has done this twice already as a head coach with a winning percentage of 82% of his games during that period. Yeah, wow. I wanted somebody that understands and has experienced Division I basketball at the highest level. Not only was he a standout player at Lehigh, scoring 1,524 points in his career, but he was also an assistant coach for 7 years, the last 2 as associate head coach, advancing to the NCAA tournament in 2010, and he helped build the team that took down Duke in 2012. On that team was current NBA star C.J. McCollum, a player he recruited and a person that said to me on the phone that he wouldn't have been at Lehigh if it wasn't for our new coach. In these crazy times of recruiting and with the transfer portal and NIL, I wanted someone that understands and has an extensive recruiting context in the West and could come in and hit the ground running. As important with what we are seeing across college athletics, I wanted a coach that has a history and demonstrated ability to build a strong locker room and team culture. Through our conversations, there is no doubt this is a quality that enables him to be successful. Finally, I wanted someone that really wanted to be a Bobcat and understands what being part of this Bobcat family means. We do not take this lightly. In my opinion, you can't truly accomplish your goals unless you understand the environment and love where you are. The Logie family, Matt, Julia, Addie, Luke, will be a dynamic part of our Bobcat fabric. My goal throughout this process was not only to continue the momentum of the men's basketball program, but to build upon that current foundation. There is a new standard and more to accomplish. We have and continue to support all of our coaches and programs to achieve championship level success, and men's basketball is no different here at MSU. I'm ready to get started, and I know our head coach is as well. So Bobcat fans, please join me. It's my pleasure to introduce the 24th head men's basketball coach at Montana State, Mr. Matt Logie.
Wow. Two tough acts to follow. What a special day. What a special day for me, for our family, and for the Bobcat family. I would like to thank President Cruzado, Athletic Director Leon Costello, Casey Fox, and Jamie Rizzuto for the opportunity to lead the Bobcat family in the sport of men's basketball. My family and I are thrilled to be here, to be joining forces with Montana State at such an exciting time, one in which the university and this incredibly vibrant community are thriving and growing at an all-time rate. I'd like to thank my wife, Julia, whose support and love and patience, without none of this would be possible. Also with me today are my children, Addison and Luke, as well as my mom, Jill, and my sister, Kelly. And one thing you'll find out about us is we really are a basketball family. We do love football, though, as well. This is not just what I do. It's a lifestyle that's been ingrained in me since I was born. And it's been ingrained in me through the life and the impact of my late grandfather, Ed Pepple, who coached at Mercer Island High School outside of Seattle for 42 years. I know he's looking down today with a huge smile on his face, and he's probably waiting to remind me of the importance of offensive rebounding, to which I usually reply, if we make the shot, you don't have to rebound. Grandpa, I love you. I'm here because of you. And your basketball family has just taken on a whole new branch on our family tree. I'd also like to thank some important individuals that have led me here today. First off, Billy Taylor and Brett Reed from my years at Lehigh University. They gave me my first opportunities. Their mentorship of that younger version of myself were paramount for me in learning how to do things the right way. Second, I'd like to thank Damian Jablonski. Damian is currently the head coach at Whitworth University, and he took a chance on me as a first-time head coach to give up a Division I head coaching position he had strived very, very hard for, and come build a Division III basketball family in Spokane, Washington, closer to home. I love you, and I wouldn't be here today without you. To all my assistant coaches at Whitworth and at Point Loma, thank you. Jace Wombold, Matt Melka, Zach Payne, Patrick Frost, Cameron Mitchell, Kenny Love, CJ Johnson, Kyle Hurst, and Elijah Jurash. You guys were on the ground floor of this dream, and I'm honored and grateful to represent you and all the investments that you made together to have this opportunity for me and my family. Finally, I'd like to thank each and every one of my players. We are here today because of them. Your trust in us, your love for our vision, commitment to excellence, and the way you served one another. I just want to say thank you. You have changed our lives for the better in ways that go way beyond wins and losses. And I know all of you will be rooting for the Bobcats now, from here on out. I'd also like to thank the previous administrations at Whitworth, Point Loma, and Lehigh University who gave me opportunities. It really does take a village to do this the right way. It takes alignment, it takes support to build a basketball family that's nothing short of spectacular, and I thank them for that. I'd also like to thank the many tremendous small college basketball coaches around the country that I've had the pleasure to compete against and learn from. I want you to know that you are seen, you are valued, and I'm honored to represent you guys here today. Lastly, I'd like to thank Coach Sprinkle, his staff, and all of the former Bobcat players and coaches that built this foundation and the investments they have made that led us to here today. Through the excellence that has occurred here, one can see a proof of concept that the combination of a strong culture, deep relationships with players and alumni, and an engaged and supportive community, that all leads to excellence. So as I'm sure everyone is wondering, what's next? Well, the first thing we're going to do is get down to work getting the right people in place to win championships. I'm a big believer that it starts with your people. That grows into your culture, and that allows you to prepare properly. And once the preparation is done, it's time to execute when the lights come on. That's how winning gets done. That's the only way I know how to do this. At the core of this basketball family, for us, will be 4 core values: trust, love, commitment, and servanthood. Those have been the driver of all of the excellence that we have been a part of as a basketball family. I believe that it is our daily actions that fall in line with those values that make success possible. And when that happens, results follow. To the fans at Montana State, many of whom are here today, we need you now more than ever. I know the recent days have brought a lot of adversity, uncertainty, and change. But that's often how opportunity is disguised. We have a plan, we have a process, and it's going to be fun. So buckle up. Bobcat family, you have shown what is capable here in Bozeman. Big Sky championships, victories over the Grizz. As well as NCAA tournament appearances. That is why we're here. There's no such thing as a 4-year plan in today's college basketball environment. We came here to win, and the best is yet to come. Go Cats, go!
So Matt will be doing some one-on-ones with the media when we're done with this, and if the fans want to come down, obviously you can meet Matt as well. Please join us tonight at 4 o'clock from about 4 to 6 at Ponderosa. We're going to be having a social where you get to know Matt and his family a little bit better in a little informal atmosphere. But we're happy and excited to get this thing going. Again, thank you to the student athletes for coming out. Thank you for braving the elements this beautiful spring. And it's time to get started. All right, go Cats.
Nice to meet you.
Just heard from Leon a quick anecdote about you. You grew up in Washington. I think you said you played for your grandfather at Mercer Island.
Yes.
And then you drove across the country through Bozeman to get to Lehigh.
Multiple times.
What was that experience like? Can you take us through how you end up on the East Coast, on the opposite side of where you grew up?
Yeah, for me it was an interesting recruiting process. I was blessed to be a part of a basketball program that was highly successful, and so there were college players coming through every year and college coaches checking on us as young kids, each and every year. And so Lehigh University had been recruiting a teammate of mine who was a year older. Ultimately, that kind of led them to come back the following year and check in with me, and I was able to receive an offer to play Division I basketball. The reality is, I had one offer, and it was a great school, an opportunity to compete at the highest level, and so I took it. I just had to figure out how to get my car across when we were allowed to have cars on campus. So that's kind of how we ended up driving cross country. And for me, it was an interesting experience because Lehigh didn't have a lot of tradition at the time, and it was very different in that sense than the high school environment I had grown up in. So it was more about changing the culture instead of building on top of one. And there were a lot of ups and downs with that, and great lessons in that for me that I think have really shaped my coaching philosophy and how I deal with our players. And so on and so forth. But, over the course of 11 years there as a player and assistant coach, to be able to leave that program at a place where they were prepared to reach the NCAA tournament again the year after I left and beat Duke and send somebody to the NBA lottery pick was honestly not something I would have imagined, as an 18-year-old when I went away to college. It just wasn't even something that seemed realistic. So very proud of my time there, very grateful for the opportunity that they gave me, in short.
You were a journalism major?
I was, yeah.
Do you have any regrets about getting into basketball coaching?
No, I don't. I went into journalism quite honestly because I like to write, and I thought that the ability to communicate would serve me well in what I knew my passion was, which was coaching. Yeah.
Pays better too.
Sometimes.
Better than our job. Victor Flores with 406 Sports.
Nice to meet
you as well.
Nice to meet you.
I guess I know you had some ties with Travis Secure, and what other kind of Big Sky ties, if any, do you have, and just how do you feel like living in Montana and what the ties you have?
Yeah, well, first off, my family and I, we've always loved Montana. When I was coaching at Whitworth in Spokane, we would come over here for vacation and camping and things like that. It's a beautiful country, beautiful area, and it was always a place, even based on those drives through, that just felt like a family environment, felt like home, felt like a place that you could really raise a family. And so we've always had great appreciation for that. In terms of the first part with the Big Sky connections and the basketball community in the Pacific Northwest, the community is small, and if you're there long enough, you get to know everybody over time. Obviously, Travis and I have very deep roots through the Mercer Island basketball family, and he was somebody that when I was Luke's age, I had a chance to watch play in high school, and then as I rose up and got older, he came back and started his coaching journey under my grandfather, and played a role in my development as a player, and we've stayed in touch for a long time after that. So very grateful for that experience. I've fortunately also had the opportunity to compete against him already a few times when I was at Whitworth through playing exhibition games and whatnot. So that won't be too awkward. We've done that before, and obviously we're both highly competitive, so there's going to be no issue with that. But the rest of the conference it's interesting. David Riley, the head coach at Eastern Washington, was a player at Whitworth the year before I took over there. So I've known him for years. Kind of helped him just navigate that transition from college into coaching, and obviously he's been at Eastern for a long time since then. Coach Looney at Idaho State obviously was at Seattle Pacific, so we were always crossing paths on the recruiting trail. And then I replaced him at Point Loma. So it's a really small world. There's a lot of familiarity in that, and that's one of the things that makes this conference and this opportunity really, really fun and unique.
What do you think were the biggest keys to having so much success at Woodworth and then at Point Loma?
Well, number one, when I looked at this opportunity, the two things that stood out about it were the things that made those opportunities special, and that's culture and community. People that care, people that want to win, and people that are not afraid to put the resources and the things in place to make that happen. And then the second thing is the players. Ultimately, you've got to have talented players. You got to have high character people in your locker room to win championships. And we've been able to find those people, those young men, because of the alignment and the support of the programs that we've been involved with.
Hey, Coach. Robbie Whittle, NBC Montana. Have any of your former players expressed any interest in joining you at Montana State?
Obviously this has happened so fast. Those conversations are really hard to walk into a room of young men that you love dearly, that you've sat in their living rooms and talked to their families about your role in their life way beyond basketball and when their career's done. That certainly doesn't change with this move. For me, coaching is about relationships. I got into this to be a part of young people's lives and pay forward what I was given. So I think they all know that about me. But everyone's situation is different, what they're looking for, what their opportunities, look like after college and things like that. So, I'm sure, there's a lot of wrestling with that in this day and age, as we've seen here in the last few days. So it's just a very fluid time. But ultimately, the most important thing to me is that those guys know that we care about them and that we love them, and that's from player 1 through 13.
What do you think the most challenging adjustment will be going from D2 to D1 ball now?
To me, and I said this to Leon in the process, I felt like basketball is basketball. At each level that you compete at, there's a relativity to it because everybody has the same resources relative to level. I've had the opportunity to coach against many Division I teams while coaching Division II and Division III teams. So during my time at Point Loma, we were 4-2 against Division I opponents with around 8 scholarships. So the opportunity to have 13 and be on a level footing ground is exciting. Obviously, there's a calibration to your evaluation process and the recruiting that goes on. I made that calibration once from Lehigh to Whitworth, going from the Division I to the Division III level, and then again to Point Loma from the Division III to the Division II level. So it's really about knowing what it takes at each level to accomplish the goals that your program has. And I think there's a lot of parallels between championship success. And so we're looking for those characteristics that go along with the level we compete at, whether that's athleticism, size, the ability to shoot the basketball. We know what that looks like. It's just a matter of going out and putting that puzzle together now.
Welcome to Bozeman, Coach. Ashley Walker, MTN Sports. You kind of talked about how quick of a process this was. Was that kind of the first time that you've been able to talk to some of the players, and what's kind of the next steps with them? I know there's quite a few of them that are in the portal, maybe having some conversations with them. What's kind of next with that?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, it was very refreshing for me that in this process, Leon and the administration here wanted to bring us to campus, not just to see the place in the community, but also to be able to have the input of the players after meeting with me. So on Sunday morning, I had a chance to meet with them as a team during the process. And as I described to them at that time, my viewpoint of that meeting was not that it was part of the interview process, but it was